setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
Welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. I'm glad that you joined me on this Sunday. So our conversation this morning is going to be about legacies. I'll be right back with you.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
So on Thursday, early morning, I drove from my home in Palm Beach, Florida, thinking that I was going to get away from the Hurricane Dorian as it approaches the coastline. It's heading straight towards Miami, Palm Beach, Central Florida. So I get in my car and I go to my home in South Carolina thinking I'm going to get away from it. And what do you know? The forecasters now say it's coming towards South Carolina. So my house in Palm Beach is all boarded up, ready for the strike. But now I'm in South Carolina and I am in the house getting everything ready, going outside in just a few minutes after I record this podcast. Pick up every loose end so it doesn't fly around when the strong gusts come. It's amazing, isn't it? You try to get away from something and it follows you. That's life. But I'm prepared. Everyone's prepared. Everyone's going to safe places and everybody is ready to rock and roll through another hurricane. This will be my fourth hurricane. I was thinking about the other day. I've had 3 here in South Carolina and this will be my fourth one. I have been through typhoons, I've been through tornadoes, I've been through earthquakes, I have been through hurricanes now. So I can probably pretty much take anything on. Life is a new story every single day. You never know what's going to happen. I was talking to a friend last night on Instagram. And he posed a question to me. He says, what is going to be your legacy? What do you want to be your legacy to be? And I looked up the term legacy in the dictionary. And really it's a legal term. It's what you're going to leave to your beneficiaries. It could be a gift. It could be anything. And so the question now is, under the term legacy, is what are you going to leave? What are you going to be known as? What is going to be the historical part of your life that people are going to remember? Legacy is what presidents worry about. All the work that they've done and then come to find out that somebody's going to destroy it later on. So what good is a legacy? And I thought about the question, and I started to look back on my life over the last 4 years. And I began asking me that question 3 years ago, really. What do I want to change into my life? What do I want to change in my life that will benefit people down the road? Now, since 1984, I have been doing business consulting, business accounting, business taxation, business advisory work, and the list goes on. Advising advising people even from foreign countries on how they should approach America. I have done a lot in my life. Started a call center. Was one of the first call centers in the Philippines. Started a healthcare staffing company. Started a real estate company. And the list goes on. I've done a lot of different things. Primarily in the financial field. So I've kind of built up a history of a lot of things that I've done. But the question is, what am I going to leave when I leave? What am I going to be remembered for? And that really began to bother me a few years ago, 3 years to be exactly, when there was a crisis in our office. Things were shook up. The name of the company was in jeopardy. The focus of the company was in jeopardy. Everything was at a place where I did not want it to be. And it was at a place where it was not my fault of where the company had ended up. It's amazing that when you're faced with a crisis, you begin to rethink of what is your purpose, what is your content, what is the value that you're going to provide to other people. So 3 years ago, I began thinking about this, and I thought, you know what? I think it's time that I review what my purpose is, review what the content that I'm going to create that's going to create value into other people's lives. Now, I knew I did not want to continue on with the taxation part. I had done that since 1984. But I really enjoyed sitting down with people and looking at what their issues are within their company or within their own families and personal lives. And I enjoyed the mediation process of bringing one side and another side together and coming to a resolution. I've been doing that for years. I said, you know what? I think that I want to focus on helping other people, resolving conflict, resolving issues. Either it's in the workforce, it's in personal lives, it's within families, it's within divorce situations, it's within a magnitude of other situations. I wanted to make a difference, so I decided that I want to focus on mediation, coaching, business coaching, life coaching, and really sitting down with people and talking to them. I think I've mentioned this to you before, is that I am the kind of individual that I can sit down anywhere and at the end of the conversation, I've made a new friend. And I started doing that a long time ago when in traveling, in meeting people. The most fun thing that I always enjoyed, especially during tax season. I hated doing the taxes, but I enjoyed the people. And one of the things that I would always do is go out into our lobby, and it was always packed, and I would get a chair and pull it up and start talking to people as they began waiting to go in to see our tax staff. And I would hear their stories, and I would see their children, little babies in their arms that are now our clients. Little kids that have grown up into a young adults. Little kids would come into my office sometime and just sit there and talk with me because they knew they could. So I enjoyed the process of guiding people and talking to people and asking questions and getting the answers back and listening to their story. So 3 years ago, I decided, you know what, I'm going to begin shutting down the tax side of it and focus on the business advisory work, the life coaching, the business coaching, and the mediation work. Mediation work, what I love greatly is sitting down, listening to both sides and bringing them together and coming to a conclusion and coming to a resolution. And I've always told people so many times throughout the years, when there's an issue, there's always an answer. But you have to get both sides to sit down and do it. So 3 years ago, I decided, that's going to be what I want to do. And so I slowly began shutting down. And as of July of 2019, I started to I shut down my company in Los Angeles. And we had grown. We had done some of the top sports people in the world. We've done actors and actresses. We've done companies. We've advised individuals on foreign operations in other countries. I just did so much. And so the experience level that I have to share and to offer to other people is great. So as I began shutting it down 3 years ago, we finally were able to, because I wanted to give my clients enough time to go out there and find someone that they felt comfortable with. That was my whole purpose of taking 3 years to do it. So July was the final month, shut it down, moved everything to Palm Beach, and began a new life in a new role. So the question that my friend asked me, what is going to be my legacy, is hopefully people will remember me that I tried to help. I tried to bring people together. I tried to resolve conflict, disputes. And I did it with a good heart. So legacies, gosh, maybe we all should think about what legacy are we going to leave? What memory are we going to leave so that people remember exactly what our life was about? Now, people have come and gone from my life. People who I put a lot of trust in, who I respected greatly, and continue to respect even to this day. But there comes a time where you need to say, okay, what am I really doing in this life? And how do I make it better? Not just for myself, but for other people. What am I going to give to other people? So legacy is not just a legal word, but it's also kind of a spiritual word also, because what will people remember of us? And what have we given to other people to better their lives day by day? It's one of those words that maybe we need to ask ourselves, what is our legacy? What is going to be my legacy? What is my family going to remember of me? Or what are my friends going to remember of me? What have I given to them to enrich their lives? In 2019, beginning of 2019, I said, okay, for 2019, I am going to produce content that provides value to people's lives. And so from January 1st until to this day, I've been trying to do that every single day with my blogs and with my vlogs that I put out there, any writing that I do. And I've kept a journal. I started keeping a journal in 2019. And I tell you, keeping that journal has fed my mind. I put out a blog today that said, basically, if you watch television, you're just using your mind. You're just using it. Not very well. But if you're reading and if you're constantly learning and constantly trying to do new things, you are feeding your mind so it's a much better mind. It's unclogged with all that nonsense. And I also decided in 2019, in 2018, I said I'm no longer going to watch mainstream news. I will not do it. I'm going to limit my time to 30 minutes per day in written and verbal content. But I'm not going to be focused on the news and get angry and upset because it doesn't do one good thing. It's amazing, isn't it? how we begin to change our lives with the focus of also helping other people's lives. I think in every single one of our jobs, we have to ask ourselves, what can I do today that will help somebody else? I was listening to a pastor this morning, and he said, you're living in a community, and you probably know 3 people. We need to focus on 3 people this week and say, how can I help or change that person's life? Or people's lives, because there's 3. And I think that if each and every single one of us did that within our community where we live, our church, our work, our schools, wherever it may be, our neighborhoods, if you know of somebody in that community that needs your help, reach out and do it. I remember in the 2016, the election was really dirty. It's going to be dirtier in 2020. But in 2016, it was dirty. People were calling each other names. People were yelling at each other, screaming at each other. They said the society isn't what it should be. And my response to them always was back, what are you doing to change your community that you're living in? You can complain about the police, you can call them names, you can do whatever you want, but you're not changing anything. Demonstrations don't change anything. But getting involved in your communities change greatly. You can make families come together. You can tutor a child that needs tutoring. You can help the elderly who needs help. You can help the children of a community that need a little bit of adult advice. There is so much that every single one of us can do. And we should be doing it. To help our communities and our neighborhoods, our cities, our churches. It's amazing, huh? What is your legacy going to be? So, I give a thanks to my friend who asked me the question last night. What do you want your legacy to be? And I encourage every single one of you. Ask yourself, what is your legacy going to be? Is it going to be all about making money? Is it all about getting rich? Is it all about driving that Rolls Royce or wearing that Rolex watch or having cash and cash being able to show you bling on social media? Is that your goal in life? Or is your goal in life really to be the difference that changes a community? What is your legacy going to be? If your legacy is all about bling, you're going to have a very sad life because you will never be satisfied. But you will be satisfied if you help your own community. And it doesn't mean about money. It doesn't mean that at all. It means you giving your time within your community, because that should be your legacy of how you help someone become better. So on Sunday, it's usually a spiritual time for all of us. We're going to church, or we're listening to church, or we're reading something spiritual. I think part of that spirituality is thinking about what your legacy is going to be. So I encourage each and every single one of you, as you're sitting in front of the televisions, ask yourselves, what is my legacy going to be? This is Mike Lodge for the WBT. If you have any questions or if you want to make a comment, send me a text. 818-252-5682. I'll say it again, 818-252-5682. And I will respond for you. I always try to respond to every single text that comes in. So this is a good Sunday. Get out there and do something. But remember, think about what your legacy is going to be. If there's anything that I can help you with, let me know. This is Mike Lodge for the WBT. And by the way, for by the grace of God, we can do so much because He's given us that chance. Everybody, enjoy your Sunday.
Thank you for your grace, your amazing grace. Thank you for the way that you forgive me every day. Thank you for your grace, your amazing grace. Great is your mercy. Thank you for your grace. How could I breathe without it? How could I move without it? I couldn't live without it. Your grace, no single word without it. How could I speak without it? I wouldn't want to sing without it. Your grace, thank you for your grace, your amazing grace. Thank you for the way that you forgive me every day. Thank you for your grace, your amazing grace. Great is your mercy. Thank you for your grace. Imagine the world without it. There'd be no hope without it. No chance of peace without it. Your grace. Now that I understand it, my everything demands it. No longer take for granted the everlasting saving power of grace. I know I don't deserve. Grace that Calvary reserved for me. Oh, grace that takes my breath away. I lift my hands to worship you, so let me live to worship you.
Thank you for your grace, your amazing grace.
Your grace,
Thank you for the way that you forgive me every day.
every
Thank
day.
you for your grace, your amazing grace. Great is your mercy. Thank you for your grace.
Thank you for your grace, your amazing grace. Thank you for the way that you forgive me every day. Thank you for your grace, your amazing grace. Great is your mercy. Thank you for your